Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. You want to help support my channel out? Description box below, very top link, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link in that description box. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 10,600 members in the group, and it is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, my goodness. It's like, I don't know. Was it Frosty the Snowman? I'll be back again next year. Graham Gano, I'll be injured again next week. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. But this time, he's got like a little bowl in his neck. He said he gave him a shot. Hopefully that might subdue some of the pain or discomfort or whatever it is. And he's going to start trying to kick, I guess, tomorrow to see if he's able to kick. Well, hey, what's up, buddy? So, we're not sure. Of course, once again, so Graham Gano's got another injury designation. In a little bit, we'll go over the laundry list. It'll take about 4.5 weeks to read over all the players that the Giants have injured. Shocking, I know. And Chauncey Golston is still on the list. Why the guy's not on? He's been on the injured list, with his neck for about 300 years now. I'm not sure. I have no idea why they're not putting that guy on injured reserve. No idea. Absolutely no freaking idea. Every week, same thing. Every week. Anyway, but so apparently it wasn't bothering him, Gano, when he was kicking this past weekend. He said it's something that happened. I think he said he felt something after he got done lifting on Monday. So Giants are doing a due diligence. We got Young Ho Koo, obviously in the practice squad, but they did bring in another kicker, trying him out. So whether Graham Gano can kick or not, who knows? But did anything in his neck, cause him to miss that field goal against the 49ers might have, would have changed the outcome? Probably not, because we couldn't stop anything in that game. So, but it might have made it 34-27. Who knows? But also one thing that listening to Gano talk today, I don't remember if it was on the Giants channel or what it was on YouTube, but sadly, he was bringing out some stuff that's he was talking about, like, especially the sports gambling that's been going on and stuff. You can't make everybody happy. If you make a field goal, you piss people off. If you miss a field goal, you piss people off. If you make a field goal, you piss people off who wanted the under, and you kicked it and you made the over. So the people are like, texting them, or not texting them, they're on his Facebook or whatever it is. They're, I'm going to read in this article. Apparently one person said, I hope you get cancer and die. Other people were like threatening his life and stuff like that. So it's not all fun and games for Mr. Graham Gano. Doesn't have it very easy. But so we'll go over that one first. Giants kicker Graham Gano says fans have told him to kill himself. Oh, or to get cancer and die. Oh, how pleasant. Just goes to show you. The BS that Graham Gano has faced the last 3 years has crossed a line way beyond the "you suck" that he expects to hear after missing a field goal. In jeopardy of missing his 21st game over the last 3 seasons. So you figure, I mean, possibly, I mean, you don't know with the neck, but I mean, just say he misses another few games. I mean, we're like 21, 22, 24, 25 games, I mean, over the past 3 years. So if he winds up missing, just say another few games, he literally, yeah, I can talk, literally, there you go, will have missed almost a year and a half out of the last 3 years. You too, brother. Yeah. Yep. Keep the dogs. That's right. Well, I think we're looking at another good draft pick this year. And the thing is that a lot of the guys, well, as of right now, if you look at it, a lot of the teams in front of the Giants right now need quarterbacks. So the quarterbacks might start going, and that might leave the Giants with the pick of the litter as far as, anybody on defense, a wide receiver, maybe an offensive lineman or something like that. So I don't know if there's any good cornerback, whatever, but so the Giants might get themselves a good draft pick. Let's hope. But Graham gonna, just not not a lot of fun for him of late. He says, so he's in jeopardy of missing his 21st game over the last 3 seasons for the Giants due to a herniated disc in his neck that is the latest in a long line of injuries. So this has got to be his last season. I mean, there's absolutely no way that he's coming back for it. You just stone cold crazy, absolutely crazy to bring this guy back. Gano opened up Thursday about death threats that he has experienced through social media messages and in person. He said, like, people, you go out, you go to the store or whatever like that, people see you, whatever, and they make comments to you. I hear everyone else's frustration. Media, the fans, said, shoot, ever since sports betting started happening, I get people telling me to kill myself every week because I'll hit a kick that loses them money, or I'll miss a kick and it loses them money. You can't, it doesn't matter if you make a kick or you miss a kick. People want to kill you. Good old sports betting. The other day, someone told me to get cancer and die. Very nice. Very, very nice. The revelation came on a day that the NFL was rocked by the suicide, very sad, Cowboys' second-year pro, Marshawn Kneeland. That's horrible. After a police pursuit and a car crash in Texas. I'm not sure. After a police pursuit. Well, we were talking about that this morning, guys, on the team said, who is an NFL's Player Association representative. I hated hearing that news. The biggest thing, it's not just football. It's for everybody. If you have anybody that is on your mind to reach out to, do it. You never know. It could be the difference, which is true. The Giants and NFL security have been tracking hateful messages sent to Gano, who's 38, for about 3 years in accordance with safety protocols. I really don't respond, Gano said. I try not to see it as much as I can. If I start seeing that stuff, I just shut social media off. Unfortunately, that's just part of the game. I'll get letters. I'll get fans telling it to my face. I hear a lot of it from other guys on the team. So I guess some guys on his own team say stuff to him. Especially nowadays when you talk about mental health, it's tough. I've gotten thick skin over the years. Early on, it really bothered you a lot. Nobody in here wants to hear stuff like that. Gano didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday after he missed a 45-yard field goal last Sunday against the 49ers in the second game back from a 4-game absence due to his groin injury. He is holding out hope about kicking Sunday against the Bears and avoiding any discussions of another stint on injured reserve. Many fans are fed up with the one-time Pro Bowl selection recurring injuries. His own pride and the team's roster mismanagement have left the Giants in a spot in which having no kicker has contributed to 3 losses. But the anger has manifested in the worst ways. I just want to make the fans happy, he said. Help the team win games, and not being able to do that is hard, Gano said. People are passionate, and a lot of it. I understand. I want to do my best. I'm proud to be a Giant. I wish there was something I could do to not be hurt, but I want people to know I care. I want to play. I want to be the best I can. I want to make every kick. I wouldn't be playing this long if I didn't care about it. The discomfort in Gano's neck started last week, but he thought he slept wrong and developed a kink. The pain intensified Monday after lifting weights, and he underwent a spine injection Wednesday with hope that he can kick it in Friday's practice. So he hasn't kicked. So he's going to try to kick in Friday's practice and see, today's practice pretty much, and see if he's able to go. It's unbelievably frustrating, Gano said. I can't control the injuries that have happened. It's not like I've done something that is out of the ordinary outside of the building to hurt myself or anything. Yeah, the guy's not, snowboarding or skydiving or anything, or mountain climbing or anything like that. I just want to play ball, and constantly not being able to is tough. Doing everything I can to try to come back and play, and that's my hope. A pro since 2009. He has been one of the best kickers in Giants history since arriving in 2020. Even though through injury, he is 18 out of 20 on field goals and 24 out of 24 on PATs across 15 games over the last 2 seasons. So, Gano reasoned that he might do a better job tuning out the haters than others. He said he has received violent messages after winning kicks, too, because of gambling. Playing this long, that stuff, you're used to it now, Gano said. I kind of keep it to myself. I'll talk to teammates if I'm struggling. I've been playing ball since before the rise of social media, so I've gotten to see the whole gamut of it. I think it's tough for a lot of the younger players if you really listen to that stuff. We got here. Giants could be headed, Gano could be headed for another place kicking change. Graham Gano's latest injury could open the door for Young-Ho Koo to become the Giants' place kicker. So Gano has already missed 4 games and most of a 5th this season with a groin injury, appears on the verge of being unavailable to be the place kicker for the Giants on Sunday against the Bears. Gano on Thursday missed his 2nd consecutive day of practice with a neck injury, per Dan Dugan of The Athletic. Gano has a herniated disc in his neck. Gano called the injury unbelievably frustrating. Obviously, all I want to do is play football, he said. Now, the one thing is that if they do bring in, we're going to go over here in just a second, a kicker who just needs a kick, easier said than done, field goals and extra points, because sometimes they got the Scottish Hammer who can do the kickoffs and the punting. So, Koo said he feels very ready if he gets the opportunity. Definitely want to get on the field and just show what I can do, Koo said. Head coach Brian Dable said Gano reported the neck issue on Monday. When Gano, 38, was injured in Week 3 against the Chiefs, the Giants signed Koo to their practice squad. They chose second-year place kicker Jude McAteeney, who had 1 game of NFL experience in 2024, over Koo as Gano's replacement, while the 38-year-old was on the injured reserve. McAteeney missed 3 extra points in the final 2 games before Gano returned to action. McAteeney is back on the Giants practice. McAteeney's back on the Giants practice squad, I guess. And Koo, in 8 NFL seasons, including 6 full years with the Falcons, the 31-year-old Koo has made 85.8% of his field goal attempts and 96.2% of his extra points. I mean, he's made 86%. Now, to be fair, right, is that the guy, the guy is kicking, indoors a lot of the time. You can probably look at, more than half the time he's kicking indoors. Why? Because you figure at least 8 or 9 of the games are in Atlanta every year, indoors. Then at least one of those games is against Nolans, indoors. So he's kicking at least 9 or 10 games every year indoors, even if every other game is outdoors. So, that certainly helps when you don't have to worry about the wind and the rain and the cold and the ice and the slop and whatever else MetLife Stadium, Giant Stadium, has in store for you. So, it does help, kicking indoors. But regardless, Koo's done a very a decent job over his career. It was a couple of years ago. He's the one who was, I think it was 14-14. I think it was tied at, and Koo kicked the game-winning field goal for the Falcons a couple of years ago against the Giants. Giants, whatever, 3/4 of the game, whatever, were just dominating the game. And of course, what you don't want to do is let a team hang around. Well, the Giants were dominating the Falcons, outplayed them, but they let the Falcons hang around. And then they scored a touchdown to make it, I think it was 14-14. And then, of course, the Giants got the ball back. I believe, of course, couldn't do anything with it. And then they gave the ball to the Falcons. And, of course, they just walked down the field, setting up the game-winning field goal for Koo. Good! Giants lose. Shocking, I know. I'm shocked, too. So, but the Giants trying to do some due diligence because we're not sure what's going to happen with Gano. Giants hosted a former University of Pittsburgh kicker for a tryout. Giants are doing due diligence just in case Graham Gano's neck injury becomes a long-term concern. So, if he can't go, we'll be looking at close to him missing almost 30 games over the last 3 seasons. Close to it. He's missed, 20? I guess 20 games. So we got, 8 games left. So if he misses, I'm just saying could possibly miss 28 games over 3 years. There's no way he can come back. You got to move on. You have to move on. I would be relatively shocked whoever the new coach is that comes in here would even think about bringing Gano back. So the Giants hosted kicker Ben Sauls for a tryout on Thursday, according to the league's transaction report. Sauls entered the NFL as an undrafted free agent out of Pittsburgh this past spring. He signed with the Steelers after the draft, but did not make the 53-man roster. He was then signed to the Falcons practice squad on September 23rd, not long after the Falcons cut bait on young Ho Koo, who is currently on a Giants practice squad. Sauls was released by the Falcons just 2 days ago. The University of Pittsburgh, he's only 5'9", 182-pound kicker, earned third-team All-ACC honors in 2024. Over his 5-year college career, he appeared in 53 games, made 122 out of 124 PATs, 98.4%, and 52 out of 64 field goal attempts, 81.3, for a total of 278 career points. Giants are currently at a crossroads of sorts with their kicker situation. Gano, who spent 4 weeks on injured reserve earlier this year after injuring his groin during pregame warm-ups in Week 3, is once again back on the injury report, this time with the neck issue. Gano has not practiced this week, said he received the diagnosis of a neck injury on Monday after feeling discomfort while lifting weights. He received treatment for the issue and said he hopes to kick on during today's practice on Friday. Gano can't kick. Koo will receive the first of the 3 allotted practice squad elevations this weekend when New York visits the Bears. The Giants also had Jude McAtamey back on the practice squad, the Irish-born kicker who filled in for Gano while he was on injured reserve. In his 4 games played this season, McAtamey was 2-2 on field goal attempts, but he was 9 out of 12 on PATs. It's just not, the moment just gets a little too big for him. So I mean, it's nice to have him on there, but I get it. Plus he doesn't take up a spot on the practice squad. You have so many, but he's got that international exemption, so they put him on there. I guess if they don't have any other kickers and they need a kicker to miss a field goal, they'll elevate McAtamney and put him on the 53, and he'll miss some extra points for the Giants and field goals, and hope maybe loses another football game. But the Giants are doing the due diligence, so maybe we'll get to see Young Ho Koo this weekend. I'm fine with that. Bring the guy on. Bring him on. I mean, I don't know how many more times Gano's going to get injured. I mean, it's got a hamstring, a groin, a knee, and neck. It's like it's just unbelievable. It really is. I mean, I understand the guy is hey, in 2022, the dude was unfreaking believable. But ever since 2023, it's almost like a TV show. As the Gano turns. I mean, other teams got kickers that they can kick and kick for 3,000 years, and you never hear their name because maybe they don't miss a note, but they never get injured. Gano, it's like he's always it's unbelievable. It really is. It's okay to let the guy go. Bring somebody else in, draft somebody, or whatever you got to do. Or if there's a good, I don't know, if a free agent comes available, maybe sign a free or something, but it's okay to let the guy go. We need somebody who can be dependable. I mean, and it's so bad. It's at the point where it's like there's actually times, where he's like kind of costs you a game because you dress him. You're not going to dress. Well, we'll dress. Gano gets in. We'll dress 9 kickers. Well, if Gano gets injured in the next 7, we still got another kicker. You're only going to dress 1 kicker. All those spots, especially for special teams, are so valuable. You're not going to dress 2 kickers. You dress 1 kicker. And there's been times because Gano just gets injured during the game or pre-game or whatever it might want to be, and basically costing us a game. Right? So. And I saw there was an article on this here. The guy says Belichick would take the Giants' job in a second. Wow. To me, that's kind of scary, though. I don't know. I couldn't see bringing him in. He's just is it something he's going to want to do for the long haul? I mean, how many years is the guy going to want? I mean, his article here talks about how much Belichick might want, how long he might stay here for and all, but it would make things interesting, that's for sure. But as the game passed them by, you're not exactly, that's sure. I mean, he's not doing a phenomenal job in college. And again, he doesn't have the greatest talent either. But, all right, here we go. Bill Belichick would take the Giants' job in a second, says an ex-NFL columnist. Gary Myers, who knows both Bill Belichick and the Giants' co-owner John Mara very well, believes Belichick would return to New York. Belichick was not included in our recent list of 10 possible head coaching candidates for the Giants should they move on from Brian Daboll at the end of the season. Could Belichick, though, actually return to the NFL to become the head coach of the Giants? Now there was I don't even know who this guy was, but he was talking on one of the podcasts or whatever, and he said he was doing some digging around. So I guess he knows some people in the Giants organization. I don't know. But he said he was doing some digging around, this guy. and he said Dable was fired the moment he got off the Denver, the plane from Denver. He was fired. He was gone. That collapse did it. He was dead man walking. The minute he walked down off the plane and boom, boom, 2 feet at JFK or LaGuardia or whatever airport they land at, gone. You're out of here. However, apparently, I guess cooler minds, came about, and obviously Dable still has his job. And this guy who was talking, I said, once again, I don't know who this guy is, but he said that after he was doing some digging around, he said, it wasn't Shane. He said, you can kind of figure out who it was. He said, it wasn't Joe Shane who was going to do the firing. So if it wasn't Joe Shane, there's nobody, Brandon Brown ain't going to fire him. It's not, nobody in the cafeteria is going to fire Brian Dable, or the janitor's not, or anything like that. Dexter Lawrence isn't going to fire Dable, right? So you kind of imagine, if it wasn't Joe Shane who was going to fire him, it meant somebody above Joe Shane is going to fire him. But apparently, I guess cooler heads prevailed. So Dable's gone. He's end of the season, gone. The only thing is, will he make it through the end of the season? The one thing is that, obviously it would behoove the Giants, I think, to keep Dable around to the end of the season. Because it really helping out with Jackson Dart, with the development of Dart. Now, let's not forget, obviously, it's the same thing. It's like with McAdoo, right? Good up here with the offenses and stuff like that. Not a good head coach. Pat Shermer, very good up here. Offensive play call and all that, very good. Not a good head coach. Joe Judge, has some knowledge, was pretty good at the special teams. He was with Belichick, very knowledgeable about a lot of things. Not a good head coach. Brian Dable, very good up here, offensive wise, developing quarterbacks and all of that. Not a good coach. So, just to keep Dable around, right, that continuity, I think will be very important for the rest of the season. These final 8 games. And then after that, you just tip your cap. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Dable. But Dable's dead man walking. He's gone. I mean, there's no way I can't, even if we got 8 games left, even if we go 4-4. It would be 6-11. There's not enough. See, the thing is, there's just so much bad that has happened once again. Yeah, even if somehow we were going to go 4-4. Now, the only one thing is that we got the Commanders coming up at home. Got a lot of home games. We got the Cowboys. Neither one of those teams is very good. If somehow we could, that would be nice. If we could win those 2 games, that would really, really be good. Beat the Cowboys and the Commanders. That would be huge. It just, once again, we still have to play. We got to play we're going to play the Bears. The Bears are going to put some points up against us. We got to play the Packers. We got to play the Lions. We got to play the Raiders. So we got some games coming up. We saw the Patriots. They're looking really good. Right. So, but we got some tough games. Out of the final 8, it's very difficult to see us going 4-4. Maybe 3-5. Maybe. I said if we go 3-5, right? I mean, that would put us at 5-12. Yeah, I can't. There's just been so many. Once again, it just when things are going bad, our coaches have no answers. We have no answers, nothing. And it's every week. It's like, how are we going to lose the game this week? How are we going to, You just. I mean. The Bears put up some points. The Bears don't have a good defense. I'll talk about, obviously, by Saturday night. We'll talk about the preview of the game and all that, right? But The Bears, I mean, it was almost like a basketball game between the Bears and the Bengals. That must have been, I didn't see it, must have been a heck of an exciting game. I like defense, though. I'm a defensive kind of guy. As you notice, I'm a little old. But, I mean, there were some points put up on the board there. So the Bears be putting up some points. So if we couldn't stop the 49ers, don't look for us to be stopping the Bears anytime soon either. So we're going to need to, but we can put up some points. That we can. We can put up some points against the Bears. So once again, could be another very interesting, exciting game for the Giants this week coming up. But anyway, back to Bill Belichick. Gary Myers said, I think Belichick would do it in a second. Longtime NFL columnist Gary Myers said on Wednesday in Valentine's Views podcast. Myers, a former columnist for the Dallas Morning News and New York Daily News, has also authored 7 books. His latest is Brady versus Belichick. Myers knows Belichick and Giants co-owner John Mara as well as anyone. Belichick, of course, won 6 Super Bowls as head coach of the New England Patriots, including postseason victories. Belichick, 333, is 14 behind Don Shula at 347 as the winningest NFL head coach of all time. After failing to get an NFL job when he was let go by the Patriots after the 2023 season, he is now playing his trade to mixed reviews in the college football world in North Carolina. I know that's the record for victories is important to him. So if he could do something with the Giants, he's 14 games behind Shula, possibly in 2 years, maybe. I mean, if he was able to work up some magic, he's not getting 14 victories with the Giants in 1 year. It's not happening. Maybe if we're lucky, maybe in 2 seasons with the Giants, he can get So the thing is also, he's taking the job. He would take if it was offered to him. He would take the job with the Giants, apparently in a second, according to Myers. But is he doing it, to get, somebody's giving me a chance. Yes, I'll take it. Take it in a heartbeat. Now I got a chance of getting that record. Does he want the record? Or is he here, because his heart, part of his heart's always been here in New York. Giants, very, very special to him. Mr. Mara has always been very special to him. His place, his organization is very, very special to him. So he always had it's not like, he's taking the job at New Orleans. And now, man, it's always been special. No. New York, it's always been special to him. When he was here in the 80s, very, very special. And it always has a piece of his heart. And I said Mr. Mara as well, too. So he kind of is like, is he here because it's the Giants, or is he here because it's part the Giants, but also because maybe if he can hang around 2 or 3 years, he'll break the record? If he wins 5 games and wins 5 games in the 3rd year, you'll let him hang around 1 more, then he gets 5. Now he broke the record by 1 game, and then he can retire. Meanwhile, we go 5-12, 5-12, 5-12, and you got to pay the guy a lot of money. So it wouldn't be an easy decision, but I don't even know if they'd even offer the job to him. I also know it's important to him to win a Super Bowl without Tom Brady. I think it's something Belichick very much wants to do. If the game, the pro game, or if the game has passed them by, he ain't winning a Super Bowl. Belichick, of course, was the Giants' defensive coordinator on Bill Parcells from 1985 to 1990, a period that saw the Giants win 2 Super Bowls. Perhaps the greatest mistake of George Young's outstanding tenure as the Giants GM was rejecting Belichick and making Ray Hanley the head coach in 1991. Unbelievable. Belichick loves the Giants, Myers said. I mean, he loves the Giants. He gets emotional and melancholy reminiscing about the Giants years. Although that was a long time ago, the Giants have stolen his heart. I do know that John Mara has a good relationship with Bill. Whether that means he would hire him or not, I don't know. There would be obstacles to bringing back Belichick. Bill Belichick is the head coach at UNC. Belichick isn't available technically. He is coaching North Carolina Tar Heels, where things are not going as anyone had hoped. The Carolinas 3-5, 12th in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and there are plenty who wonder if Belichick and the staff he brought in actually understand college football. Belichick is still in year one of a 5-year, $50 million contract. Belichick could buy his way out of his North Carolina contract for $1 million. Of course, the school could also fire him, but that would be costly. I don't honestly see Belichick's current job as a real impediment. There are others. Belichick will turn 74 before next season in April. He's going to turn 74. I mean, do we want a 95-year-old coach coaching it? I mean, he's 74. Belichick turns 74 in April. It is clear he still has the energy and passion to coach, and Myers detailed above some of the reasons he would be motivated to get back on an NFL sideline. Pete Carroll, who is 74, is showing with the Raiders that he isn't too old to do the job. Belichick isn't either. The question would be, for how long? That's one of the things. You want to bring somebody in, yeah. Says, do you hire him for, say, a 3-year window? That's the one thing. It's kind of like, when Parcells was taking over like the Jets. I mean, he was taking over the Patriots. He was taking over the Jets. He was taking over the Cowboys. He only coached for so long. He wasn't going to go for the Cowboys and coach for 15 years. That wasn't happening. Not happening. He gets there for a few years and he gets burnt out and he's out of there. And he kept saying he's retiring. After he's with it was even times when he was with the Giants, and he said, "Yeah, I'm not doing this much longer. I can't." There was a video clip, of others, but one of them he was talking to the Eagles head coach Buddy Ryan. So it was in the late '80s. It was before a game, and I think Parcells was mic'd up, as he was quite often, but he went over to Buddy, and they're just chit chat. And before the game, because after the game was over, Buddy Ryan always ran off the field. He never shook anybody's hand after the game was over. Win, lose, or draw, Buddy Ryan just ran off the field. But before the game, Buddy, if you went up to started if Buddy liked you, and respected you, he would chit chat with you. So, sorry, I got to move my legs here. My dog's under my feet. Anyway, but there's a video clip that I've seen many a time where Bill Parcells going over to Buddy Ryan, and they were just chit-chatting, and he said, just between me and you, I'm not doing this much longer. I'm just, just so you know, I'm not doing this much longer. And that's when he was with the Giants. Coach Kennedy, not a potential. But GM with some talented people from his network might be a nice fit and have a built-in succession. Well, it's possible, yeah. But as I say, it's like with the head coach, it's like, you're going to bring him in for 3 years. I mean, the one nice thing is that we've seen, at least with Bill Parcells, hey, he took a 1-15, I think it was, Patriots team, and in a couple of years they're in the Super Bowl. Then he took, I think, I think they were both 1. Let me see here. Let's take a look at it. Let's see. It wasn't the year before he got, I don't think. New England Patriots. I think in 1990, I think they were 1-15. Is that? Yeah, they were 1-15. So let's see, 1990. So he took over a couple years later. When did he take over? 1993, maybe. Okay. So he took over. He took over a team that was 2-14 with the Patriots. And within a couple of years, he took them to a Super Bowl. Now, then you go the same thing with the Jets. Now, so he took over a 2-14 Patriots team, had them going to the Super Bowl. Then you got the same thing with the Jets here. Let's see, the Jets in 1995? No, 96. 1996. With good old Richie Go Tight. 1-15. The next season, they went from 1-15 to 9-7 under Bill Parcells. 1-15 to 9-7. And then the same thing with the Cowboys. He did a phenomenal job turning the Cowboys around. So you know Parcells could do something like that. You don't know if Belichick could do something like that. 3 years with good younger people underneath my work. Joined late. What's the deal with he has a herniated disc in his neck. Not sure if he'll be able to kick or not. He got an injection in his spine. Ugh. So today, meaning Friday, he didn't kick Wednesday or Thursday. So Friday, he's going to kick and see if he can kick. So if he can't kick, I guess we're going to get Young Ho Koo in here to kick against the Bears on Sunday. So it's not a groin or a knee or nothing like that. Now it's something in his neck. He said he felt something after he got done lifting on Monday. I guess early in the morning he got in, was doing some lifting, and something didn't feel right in his neck. So it's like a herniated disc. So who knows? If he can't kick, he can't kick. If he can't kick, is he going to be going injured reserve for another month or so? Who knows? I mean, you got a herniated disc. I mean, that's not something, the disc is, you just poke it back in. Okay, you're good. No. It can get better, but I don't know. Or does it get better with a needle? You have to keep getting injections to make it feel better. Does he have to keep doing that all season long? Ooh, I don't know. So, but once again, Graham Gano is injured. Once again, not sure if he can kick or not. So we'll have to wait and see. Keep an eye on that. But somebody like Parcells, can take a crappy team and work his magic and get you into the playoffs. I mean, he took the Giants to the two Super Bowls. He took the Patriots to the Super Bowl. He took the Jets to a championship game. So he took 3 straight teams that he coached to championship games. So, and who knows what they would have done in that one year that he took them to the playoffs. That was the one year where I can't remember what it was, 2002, 3, whatever it was, when all they had to do was kick a field goal. Ball goes snapped back to Tony Romo. He goes to put the ball down. The ball slips out of his hand. It's laying there on the ground. He picks it up and tries to run, and he gets tackled. Actually, he could have gotten a first down, but he just got tackled just short of the first down and the goal line and all that. But the ball slipped out of his hands. So it was like a 3-yard field goal. It was a real short field goal, but the ball slipped out. So the Cowboys won that game. Who knows? Maybe they could have won it, maybe not. Maybe they could have gotten to a championship game. Who knows? But anyway, well, Belichick. But they say also looking at all potential candidates to the Giants are who gives us the best chance to win, which is what it's all about. And if he only stays 3 years, but can get us to a Super Bowl in 3 years, I don't know. I mean, what happened, in New England. Once Brady left, he had a couple winning seasons, but Brady went to Tampa Bay, won a Super Bowl. Belichick lost Brady, and Belichick didn't go to the Super Bowl. They didn't win it, so. Not that he's certainly not that he's a horrible coach. Don't get me wrong. Very good coach, but now another thing here. Jackson Dart's development. Belichick had Brady. When Brady left the Patriots, though, Belichick's work with quarterbacks did not look great. New England drafted Mac Daddy Jones in round 1. Belichick made a mess out of Jones's development after Josh McDaniels left following Jones's rookie season, partially because he had the brainstorm to give offensive control to ex-Giants head coach Joe Judge, whose specialty is special teams, and Matt Patricia, a career defensive coordinator. Yeah. Belichick would need to show the ability and desire to bring in a top-tier offensive coordinator and offensive staff to work with the Giants quarterback, doing everything possible to screw him up, like Mara has admitted the Giants did with Daniel Jones, is not an option. You can't, yeah. Maybe Belichick likes Kafka. Kafka's interviewed for a bunch of head coaching jobs, but if he doesn't get one, you keep Kafka as the coordinator, and then you have the continuity you're looking for, Mara said. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea if you can keep Kafka around. How much control would Belichick want? Here's a big question, especially for someone likely to only be in it for a short run as head coach. Belichick was the decision maker in New England. Right? Everything ran through him as he was considered the de facto general manager. He also had the dual role in his first head coaching job with the Cleveland Browns. So possibly if he comes in, is he going to want total control? I don't want a GM. I'm everything. Right? You got to get rid of Shane. Or, everybody. I'll make all the decisions. Whew, that could be costly. Any NFL team that hires him has to determine if they are willing to blow up their entire organizational structure for a short-term fix, or if Belichick would truly be willing to cede personal authority to a general manager. That might be tough. He's 70-something years old, and he's going to listen to a general manager that's basically half his age. Whew, that's tough. Belichick's been in the league since, I think, 1975. He's been in the league longer than his GM's been alive. So it might be a little difficult for him to give up control to a general manager. But option B would seem to be the better scenario. It was not Belichick's coaching that led to his struggles over the final few seasons in New England. It was his difficulty drafting quality players and bringing in the right free agents. Would he be willing to just coach and allow Joe Shane or whoever the Giants install as general manager if they choose to move on, run the front office, and have the final say on the draft and other personnel decisions? They have to make the determination, can he coexist with Shane if they want to keep Shane, Myers said. If not, are they going to give Belichick the personal power? I think that that was his undoing in New England. If he agrees to work with Shane, I think Bill Parcells would give Shane a good recommendation to Belichick because they worked together in Miami. I would do it. Hire him because I think he's more of a sure thing despite what's happening over the last 2 or 3 years. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, that's something you have to, But Dave will still here. He'll be gone after the season if he makes it that far. Good. What do you think is a long-term fan? I joined the Tanks in '66. Do you think going back to 4-3 would help our defense next year? Well, a lot of that depends upon, who the defense coordinator is going to be. Right? Because it ain't going to be Bowen. I mean, there ain't no way in HELL hockey sticks is going to be Bowen. Right? So whatever they want to bring it in. One of the things is, you have to figure out somehow, expanding and carrying. And if we bring McFadden back too, right? Because let's not forget, it's a contract year for him. So we got a Carrick, right? The dude's like, I think, 5th in the NFL so far. I mean, he has like 82 tackles. So he's on pace for like 155 tackles. So you got to figure out, right? You got a Carrick. We bring back McFadden, Sexy Dexy, Kayvon, Bernsey, and Abdul Carter. You got to figure out where to get those 6 guys on the field a lot. So, but you got to figure, right, is that McFadden's not an outside linebacker. He's good up the middle, going straight up and plugging the holes and all of that. Now Carrick's good up the middle. So if you go back to a 4-3 somewhere, I don't know what you're going to wind up doing. Can you make McFadden an outside linebacker? No. Right. So, but I mean, a lot of it does have to do with who the defensive coordinator is. So, I mean, a lot of it's going to be like the give and take. You bring in some, whoever GM is. I don't know if it's going to be Shane or not. Who knows? Bring in, some candidates. And then it's like, well, these are the guys I got. These are the guys that's on the team. What kind of defensive scheme you're going to run with these guys, or we got a lot of vets that we have a Carrot, we paid him a Carrot, we just signed McFadden, we got Sexy, we got all these guys. You just can't come in here and blow everything up. So that's a thought, but it depends upon who the new defensive coordinator is going to be. Yeah. It's like you got all these pieces. You got to make gumbo with it, right? Whatever you got to make it work. The guys you got. So that's a good question, though. But I mean, it's just like Dable, Bones, dead man walking. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. As I said to me, I mean, it's just just 8 more games is just total trash. Is really tough, very unbearable. The only nice thing is that at the end of the season, right, you get yourself a nice draft pick out of it. And then speaking of that, right, not making any moves or anything, it's the Giants decided to stay put at the trade deadline. Now, of course, there were so many things going around. Of course, one of the things I was hearing is that Shane was working the phones a lot. I mean, I'm not calling the Giants organization, but it's the stuff you read and all that, listening to people talk and whatnot. He was trying. Now, one of the things you keep a lot of people talking. How come they didn't get rid of? Why did they trade Evan Neal? Why did they trade Jalen Hyatt? Why didn't they get rid of Deontay Banks? Trade them. Just get rid of them. I mean, well, people gotta want these guys. Right. I mean, like with Evan, I'm kind of surprised that they maybe didn't move Evan Neal. I'm a little shocked about that. Because the thing is that this is last, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. Now, I mean, unless, it can be interesting to see after the season's over with. Do they bring him back for like $3 million a year? Or do they lose out? Does he go someplace else? Very, very interesting. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. That's because obviously they didn't pick up they picked up Kayvon's 5th year, but they didn't pick up Evan Neal. But just because, these guys, like Evan Neal isn't active on the game day roster, doesn't mean they weren't trying to trade him. But it takes 2 to tango. Right? I mean, if Shane thinks that maybe trading away Jalen Hyatt, he should get like a 5th-round pick, and people are only offering a 7th-round pick, maybe he might have said no. Who knows? Trading away Deontay Banks. I mean, I give him away for a bag of Fritos. I mean, yeah. But the thing is that, you see how thin we are in the secondary. I mean, even as bad as Banks has been, it's like, who we got behind him? Right? I mean, we might be in a lot of trouble. But, I mean, you can just, Banks is just, ungodly. Lack of effort. So the Giants sit on the sidelines on a wild day. While the Cowboys and Colts made massive moves and 2 wide receivers found new homes, the Giants did absolutely nothing. Well, it's not that they didn't. I mean, they didn't do anything, but it wasn't because they didn't try. Right? Now you don't know, were they trying to be buyers and sellers? Were they trying to get that wide receiver? I mean, Jacoby Myers went. He didn't go for a lot. Apparently, one thing I read was they wanted a lot for Waddle. I don't blame them. Olave, with his injury history, is always a kind of a question mark. So there's always, it takes 2 to tango. It's just not, we're going to get so-and-so. We're just going to go out and grab them. There's always, it's a lot more than that. But Giants watch as a busy, transformative NFL trade deadline day passed in silence for the Giants on Tuesday. The Giants were neither able to acquire badly needed wide receiver help nor dump unused assets like Russell Wilson, Evan Neal, Jalen Hyatt to acquire future draft capital. Thus, rookie quarterback Jackson Dart will go through the final 8 games of the season with one wide receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson, who has been reliable this season. Giants' number 2 receiving option is inconsistent. Second-year tight end Theo Johnson has a 9.3% drop rate over 21 NFL games. So basically, he drops like 1 out of every 10 passes. Not good. Giants without a third-round pick in 2026 NFL draft lines because we do have our franchise quarterback, hopefully, of the future. So they were also unable to add draft capital that could have been used to help round out the roster in future years, which is true. Instead, Neal, who has been active just one time and has not played a snap this season. Wow. Pick number 7 in the draft 4 years ago, and he hasn't played in one snap this year. Wow. He will likely continue to rot on the bench the remainder of the season and then leave in free agency. Hyatt will likely continue to be ignored while nondescript players like Ray McLeod, Little Jordan Humphrey, Bo Collins, and Gunnar Olszewski receive offensive snaps. Wilson will continue to languish on the bench and cost the Giants money for doing little to nothing the remainder of the season, provided Dart remains healthy. All around the Giants, though, there were fireworks. The Jets decided to blow it up. Now, the Jets, they have about 55 first-round picks over the next couple of years. So they're going to get themselves some – of course, they had to jettison some of their top players, but they're starting over, and they need a quarterback. The Jets acted like a 1-17 with a rookie coach and without a real quarterback, which is exactly what they are. They blew stuff up. They traded 2-time All-Pro cornerback Sauce Gardner to the Colts for 2 first-round picks and wide receiver Mitchell. They swapped 3-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Quinion Mitchell to the Cowboys for a first-round pick in 2027 and a second-round pick in 2026 and defensive tackle Mozzie Smith. The Jets now have 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. They have 5 first-round picks. Of course, they traded away 2 first-round picks, with Williams and Sauce Gardner. So they did lose 2 really good players. But if they can replace them with 5, see. That is how you kickstart a rebuild. By the way, Daniel Jones has to be smiling today. He is about to get paid. Again, Jones got a big contract from the Giants after 1 good year. Now the Colts have traded away their next 2 first-round picks. I'm going to talk about this in just a few minutes. That virtually guarantees that they will be tying themselves to Jones, a potential free agent for the next few seasons, because you could draft a quarterback in the second round, sure, but if you want that, usually you want to try to get a quarterback in the first round. Jerry Jones is a mad scientist. Remember when the world, including a certain writer of Big Blue View, was laughing at the Cowboys owner Jerry Jones after he traded Micah Parsons to the Packers? Well, nobody should be laughing now. The Cowboys beefed up their defense by adding Williams, who is not Micah Parsons, but is a really good player, and getting a good linebacker in Logan Wilson from the Bengals for a measly 7th-round pick. Well, they're adding Williams, but they gave up a first round and a second round for the guy. But also they did one thing, the Giants are going to have to face. How satisfied are you with the offensive line, especially center and guards? Well, we certainly could. It's going to be that's going to be something after the season's over with. Very, very interesting, because Luminor, this is his 2nd season. Is he going to come back? Are they going to want to bring him back? If they don't bring him back, maybe put Bo in there. Right? You got Bo over there. You got Andrew Thomas on the other side. John Michael Schmitz, I think he looks like he's a little dinged up again. But we got Schlotman behind him, hasn't done too bad. The thing is, with Van Roten, right? Guy's getting up there in age. I mean, doesn't mean he's going to retire after the season, but how many more years can he keep playing at a respectable level? Sooner or later, we got to get somebody. I mean, Azuda's been injured. So we could use somebody on the interior of the offensive line. We got Runyon. We only got him. What do we got him for another year? 2 more years or so, maybe 2 more years. So, we're going to need to replace him. 2 more years, I think it is. We signed for 4 years, I think. So we're going to need, some along the line. But, we should be drafting somebody every year on the offensive line. But, I mean, it looks like Bo graded out pretty well. I know he gave up some pressure against the 49ers, but his run blocking grade, according to PFF, right, was like, I think, over an 80. So not bad for a 5th round pick, but we need to keep doing that, right? We need to keep picking some good offensive linemen. But if we can bring Illuminor back, that would be great. We got Illuminor, we'd have Bo, we'd have Andrew Thomas. That's not bad. Hopefully we can let Hudson go, because that guy, just a penalty machine. But I think an interior offensive line, I think we should certainly try to go out there and add somebody. That's for sure. We don't have a lot of money in the salary cap for next season, but we got a lot of guys. Their contracts are up. We might want to try to bring, like with Flott, Belton, DJ Davidson, McFadden, Bellinger. Got a lot of guys that their contracts are up, and we might want to try to bring some of these guys back. So, we might be able to get a free agent here or there, or whatever, but I really can't go too hog wild crazy spending money. But I'd like to see in the draft us pick somebody, another offensive lineman. That would really, really be good. But with the Cowboys, the Giants are going to have to face they just got themselves 2 really good run stuffers with Williams, and then they made it the trade with the Packers, Michael Parsons, and in that trade, the Cowboys really helped beef up their run defense as well too. So, but they gave up, they give up some draft picks to get Williams. So the Giants' next move after the trade deadline no-show couldn't be clear. The Giants can't afford to keep dropping Dayball. Giants are a clown show. They have been for the better part of the last 3 seasons, and it's time for a change. The tandem of general manager Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll just isn't working. And instead of taking what's happening at face value and being proactive, ownership is sitting on its hands, hoping the same approach will magically yield a different result. Well, Tuesday offered a chance for the dynamic duo to adjust the roster one way or another via the trade deadline. At 2-7, it is unlikely the team would have been buyers. But with players like Wilson, Neal, Hyatt, and Banks, the opportunity to sell was on the table. The fact that certain players are still occupying roster spots post-deadline is a clear indication this team is committed to the same losing formula it's had for years, and it's time for ownership to step in and make a change. It's unlikely John Mara will fire both Schoen and Daboll in season, but one of them has to go. Sure, it wasn't great that Schoen ignored making deals on deadline. Well, it wasn't like he ignored. Just because there wasn't a trade made or something like that, just because we didn't pick, get Jalen Waddle for an 8th round pick or something. It doesn't mean Shane wasn't on the phone. Shane just sat on his hands and didn't do that. No. Shane was busy. I'm sure very busy. It always takes 2 to tango. You just can't say, just go trade it. Just trade Jalen Hyatt. You just go trade him away, and you just get yourself a 4th round pick for him. That's all you got to do. It's not that easy. I mean, it's like you have like football cards. You open up a pack of football cards. Oh, I'll trade you this guy for that guy. It's not that easy. Daboll, on the other hand, is responsible for steering the ship on Sundays, a job he's not qualified for, and it's time to pull the plug. The Giants have no choice but move on from Brian Daboll after the trade deadline. Shane not making a move to help this head coach suggests there isn't much faith in the 50-year-old to come close to turning things around. Why waste assets on a coach that has shown zero ability to do much of anything with anyone? Dart isn't going to save Dave's job, nor should he have to. The organizational mess displayed every week is the byproduct of a fourth-year head coach whose inability to get his team prepared has set this franchise back years. The numbers don't lie. These are interesting numbers here. This is an unprecedented, unprepared, undisciplined team, and that's on him. Anthony Rivardo of Empire Sports Media highlighted the systematic failures that continue to plague this organization. With all the fingers pointing at Dable. Through 9 weeks, the Giants ranked first in delay of game penalties with 7. Ranked tied for 5th in false starts with 15. They ranked second in defensive pass interference with 9 for 200 yards lost, which ranks first. They ranked 5th in total penalties committed with 69. They ranked 4th in total penalty yards, 583 yards. They've almost 600 yards in penalties in 9 games. They have blown 3 two-possession leads. 3. Those should be guaranteed. I'm not saying guaranteed, but they should be. If you're a good coach, they should be wins. Now, to be fair, right, the one two-possession lead was one against New Orleans. Then we had all those turnovers. Now, Dable had nothing to do with those turnovers. But we lost against Dallas and Denver. They lost 1 3-possession lead versus Denver. A 3-possession lead. They ranked 14th in third down conversion rates at 40%. They ranked 19th in fourth down conversion rate at 52.94%. Ranked 26th in red zone conversion rate at 50%. It's time for Mara to stop seeing Dable for who he could be and start seeing him for what he isn't, the right head coach for the Giants. For real. How much more of a mess does the front office need to see to make a change? Shane Bowen's defense has been unwatchable. The good news is there's a clear next step. The Giants could elevate Kafka to the interim head coach and give him the final 8 games to see if he's anything there with him and rookie quarterback Jackson Dart. Right? Because you figure somewhere along the line, Kafka's probably going to get a head coaching job. Why not see if he can be the coach of the Giants? Get rid of Dable. It ain't getting no better with Dable. We might win a couple games, 2-3 games, but he's gone. I think what are we? I think we're 13 out of the last 51 games, not including the playoffs. I think we're 13, 37, and 1. Basically, we won 13 of our last 50 games. It ain't getting no better. It's time to cut the cord. Keep Kafka there. See what he can do. Right? Kafka's been in the head coaching jobs in the past and played a key role in Dart's development, while also helping mold Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. At this point, there's no difference between 3 wins and 6 wins the rest of the way. By giving Dart a chance to grow with a forward-thinking offensive voice at the top is worth a shot. The writing's on the wall. It's time to move on. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, enjoyed the show. Best to you from a chance. All right. You got it, brother. Hey, thanks for hanging in there with me. Appreciate it. Thank you. And go Giants. All right. Giants with another laundry list of injuries. Now, to be fair, also the Bears got some injuries as well, too. They got some injuries, but boy, I'll tell you what, the Giants are just. Let me share my screen here and just there's just. And I keep saying why. I have no idea why Chauncey Golston is still not on injured reserve. The dude has been on the injury list. I got to find it here. Is that it? Okay, yeah. All right. Oh, there we go. I mean, Chauncey Golston. I mean, every week he has a problem with his neck. Now, I get it. Hey, and that's the best. You don't want to mess with somebody's neck. I get it. I totally understand. But why isn't this guy on injury reserve? Every week he's listed as doubtful or out. And every week he's not been, why is he taking up a roster spot? All right. So, all right, guys that did not practice. Once again, John Michael Schmitz. Now, this could be just possibly just rest. But if he has an issue with his shin, that's pretty damn painful. So, but once again, Jermaine Illuminor with a pec. He may not be played. He didn't play last week. He may not play this week. Who knows? Apparently, it's not a tear. But there's a problem there. Now, the nice thing about that is maybe you put Bo in there once again and you give him some valuable reps, which isn't bad. Bo Collins with a neck, Paulson Adebo with a knee, Darius Muasau with an ankle, Victor DiMukagey with a shoulder, Chauncey Golston for the 357th consecutive week with a neck, and Graham Gano with his neck. So we have what? We got 3 guys with a neck. This team is literally a pain in the neck. Guys, limited in participation. Okay. Oh, here we go. There's more necks. Daniel Bellinger with a neck and Dane Belton. They were full participants, though. So Belton and Bellinger look like they're good to go. But 2 more guys with necks. So we have 5. We have 5 neck injuries. Any more here? No? Okay. We have 5 guys with neck injuries. Guys who are limited in participation. Cordell Flott, concussion. So apparently, I guess he's still in concussion protocol. Javon Holland with a knee, Thomas Fedoni with a foot, Neville Hewitt with a foot, Theo Johnson with a shoulder, Nacho with an elbow, and Drew Phillips with a calf. So, grand total, let's see, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 guys on the injury report. 17. Now, the Bears, I know they got, where are we at here? Is this the same one I just showed? Yeah. Okay. All right. My bad. I do apologize. Let me try this again here. Share the screen. Go down to the bottom. All right, let me try this here. Oh. I said, once again, I do apologize. I got 312,000 tabs open up here. So now, all right. So once again, all these guys, like 17 of them. Adebo did not participate. Collins did not participate. DiMukagey did not participate. Jermaine Illuminor was limited with a pec. Graham Gano did not participate. Chauncey Golston did not participate. Muasau did not participate. John Michael Schmitz did not participate. Fedoni, limited. Cordell Flott was full participant. Neville Hewitt, limited. Javon Holland was limited. Theo Johnson was full participant. Nacho was a full participant. Drew Phillips was limited. Daniel Bellinger was full participant. Shane Belton with a neck, full participant. Andrew Thomas was just related injury, not injury related. And Flanagan Fowles with a pec, he was limited. But I mean, the Bears have some injuries as well, though, right? As every team does. Josh Blackwell with a concussion. Kevin Byard, he was limited. TJ Edwards, he did not participate. Grady Jarrett, he was full participant. DJ Moore, he was limited with a hip and a groin. Roma Dunze, an ankle and a heel, he was limited. Dominique Robinson, he did not participate. Cole Kmet with concussions, but he was full participant. The one of running backs, he was full participant. Johnson, another one of the running backs, he was limited. DeAndre Swift, he was full participant. Luther Burden, concussion, he was full participant. I'm not even going to try this. One of their linebackers with a knee, he was full participant. And Joe Thuney. Rest day. So they got quite a laundry little list there too as well. But not compared to the Giants. The Giants every week always seem to try to outdo their opponents every week on the injury list, unfortunately. And once again, the Giants come up victorious again this week. The Giants have more injuries than their opponents do. So, in for a lot of fun here. But finally, I saw this here. This is interesting here. Now, are the Colts, okay, repeating the same mistake the Giants have been making? Well, the Giants kind of like backed themselves into a corner, right, where they wound up paying Daniel Jones. Made us 4 years, $160 million. They guaranteed him like 80 or 90 million of it. But it seems like the way things are going here with the Colts, they're almost kind of doing the same thing that the Giants are doing. The Giants did with Daniel Jones. Now, is what it is, right? Things do seem to be kind of simmering down a little bit. I remember how the Colts started off like they were the greatest team of all time, and their offense was the greatest ever. 1920 was that's when the American Professional Football Association started. 1920 and 21. 1922 it turned into the NFL, which we know it is as it is today. So basically, the NFL / the American Professional Football Association has been around since 1920. And the first couple games of the season, the Colts looked like the greatest team ever, going all the way back to 1920, the greatest offensive juggernaut of all time. Well, they're kind of simmering down maybe a little bit. I did happen to see, okay, as we saw, as on fire as the Colts were, and Daniel Jones the first few weeks of the season, ever since Jackson Dart's been our quarterback, our starting quarterback, not when he came in against the Cowboys and handed the ball off a couple times, or not saying nothing like that. Ever since he became our starting quarterback, he has as many touchdowns, I think, as Daniel Jones does, and he has less turnovers than Daniel. I think he has like 5 interceptions. Well, Daniel Jones, between fumbles and interceptions, has like 8. Something on that. We don't have Jonathan Taylor as our running back. We don't have the Colts offensive line. We have no number one wide receiver. And Jackson Dart's numbers are just as good as Daniel Jones, not better. Now, this past week here, of course, they went up in Pittsburgh, and at that time, the Pittsburgh this year has had some problems, obviously, defensive wise, but they rose to the occasion this past weekend, and they really kind of stymied. Let's see, what do we got here? Now they did, let's see, 27-20. Daniel Jones was, where are we at here? Daniel Jones was 31 out of 50. That's not, you don't want to be throwing the ball 50 times. That's because they shut down the Colts running game. Jonathan Taylor only ran the ball 14 times for 45 yards. It's not a successful formula for victory. You don't want Daniel Jones throwing the ball 50 times. He got sacked 5 times, so he dropped back and then he ran 3 times for 4 yards. One was for a touchdown. So he dropped back at least 55 times to pass the ball. That's not a successful formula for victory. So he threw 3 interceptions, got sacked 5 times, and I know he fumbled the ball too. Well, he fumbled the ball 3 times. He lost 2 of them. So he had 5 turnovers in this game. He lost 2 fumbles and 3 interceptions. 5 turnovers he had in the game. And he got sacked 5 times. So Now, the Colts, whoops, they didn't exactly have the hardest schedule, let's say. They beat the Titans. They beat the Dolphins. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Cardinals. They did beat the Chargers. Then they beat the Titans again. So the teams they beat, they beat the Broncos. Although the one thing is that when they did wind up beating the Broncos, their field goal kicker missed a field goal at the end of the game, to win the game. And all of a sudden, the flag comes out. Well, apparently, I think somebody on the Broncos was leveraging, so they moved the ball up 10 yards, whatever, had a re-kick, and of course, it was good. So if the dude who did some leveraging didn't leverage, they wouldn't have thrown the flag. And it didn't matter anyway. I guess if he's trying to leverage and jump up and block, he didn't block it. So why he was doing that, it didn't matter. But it did matter because they threw the flag and they gave him another try at it, and then he made the field goal. If he just jumped straight up and tried to block it, which he wouldn't have, he would have tried, but they wouldn't have thrown a flag. The Colts would have won the Broncos would have won that game. So the Colts, at 7-2. They beat the Chargers in 38-24. And then they beat the Broncos at home by 1 point on that penalty. But to be fair, they are putting up some points and some yardage without question. Certainly putting up some yardage, but they've gone over 2 out of their 9 games. They've gone over 400 yards of offense 4 times. So they're putting up points. They're putting up yards. And they're 7-2. Now the thing is they don't have. They are playing their division's not very good. They still have to play the Texans again, the Jaguars again. They got to play the Jaguars twice. They got to play the Texans twice. They got to play the Falcons. They got to play the Chiefs, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. So they don't have, as they're going along, they don't have a real hard schedule. So you got to kind of look at that. Take a little bit of a grain of salt, whatever their record is. They do not have. They're not playing the Giants schedule, right? So some of those numbers might be a little, not skewed or off, but it's a little misleading. You're looking at them, it's like, okay, they're 7-2. The record says you are what the record says you are. But once they start playing really good teams, are they going to be able to win like 3 games, 2 or 3 games in the play and go to a Super Bowl? I don't think so. But, are they boxing themselves into a corner, the Colts, and forcing themselves to dish out money to Danny Dimes like the Giants did? The Giants, of course, we all know the Giants, decided to franchise Saquon and pay Danny Dimes. It is what it is, right? But the Colts are just traded away a couple number 1 picks to get Sauce on the side, Gardner. Number 1 picks, and that's usually when you want to get your quarterback. Doesn't mean you can't get a quarterback in the 2nd round. Doesn't mean you can't couple up a couple picks, couple 2nd round picks or whatever, something, maybe jump into the 1st round and grab a quarterback, But usually if you want to get a franchise quarterback, you usually like to try to do it in the 1st round. Well, they don't have that. So it's kind of almost telling you, this is Danny Dimes is on a 1-year prove-it deal. Right? As of right now, he's proven it. So the Colts might be forced to pay him at least for a couple of years or so. And, he's not coming back from that. I think he's on a $14 million a year contract. Well, the numbers he's putting up this year for the Colts, he's not coming back $14 million. He's going to come back for a whole lot more than $14 million. Kind of like something like Not with the Giants, right? So the Colts are risk repeating the Daniel Jones mistake that Giants fans know all too well. The Colts have boxed themselves into a predicament Big Blue Nation is very familiar with. Oh, yeah. Daniel Jones hasn't just turned back the clock to 2022 in his inaugural campaign with the Colts. He's leveled up. His remarkable efforts have given the team the confidence to mortgage their future to acquire star cornerback Sauce Gardner. The Colts sent 2 first-round picks and a talented young wide receiver in Mitchell in a stunning blockbuster trade with the Jets. A move of this magnitude signals that the Colts are all in on Jones as their quarterback of the present and future. Giant fans have a feeling of deja vu watching Jones thrive, specifically on an expiring contract. Yep. They've seen this movie before and know how it ends, which has put a knot in their stomachs on behalf of the Indy faithful. Colts are walking right into the Daniel Jones dilemma the Giants fans remember too well. Colts have unofficially put all their eggs in the Jones basket. You don't give up 2 day 1 selections unless you're confident in the person under center. Their brain trust is demonstrably sold on him, as the Athletics' Zach Kiefer highlighted in the immediate aftermath of the swap that landed them Gardner. Jones has been a revelation for the Colts squad, firmly in contention for the number 1 seed in the AFC. The 28-year-old is balling out, leading the NFL in passing yards, 2,404, passing success rate of 54.4% through week 9. He and his agents are surely eyeing a significant payday this offseason after settling for a 1-year, $14 million prove-it pact this past March. Gardner effectively boxed the Colts into meeting Jones's presumably lofty forthcoming demands. If not, what are they going to do? Take a chance on a less heralded, unproven prospect outside of round 1 to take the reins? Yeah. You bring in Sauce Gardner and you're going to let this quarterback go and you're going to hand the reins over to a quarterback you're not sure of after you just traded away 2 first-round picks? Wow. Perhaps the Colts can bet on lightning striking twice and taking a flyer on another veteran castaway, hoping for similar results. I kind of doubt that. But they could also return the 2023 number 4 overall draft choice, Anthony Richardson, though that ship has already sailed. Yeah, I wouldn't. At least in Indy it has. The more you think about it, the more it feels like the franchise has made its bed. Any leverage the Colts had in future negotiations with Jones went out the door the second the Gardner news was announced. Danny Dimes can ask for any amount of money he wants, within reason, of course, because Indy has no logical pivot. Sound familiar, Big Blue Nation? Currently slated for unrestricted free agency following this season, Jones is expected to net roughly $45.9 million annually, about $46 million, 45, 46. In his next deal per spot track. Do with that information what you will, and brace for his honeymoon phase with the Colts to end ungracefully as it did in New York. But, you can say, trade away the next couple. What are they going to do? Well, okay, we bring Daniel Jones in. Okay, he did good. We'll let him go, and we'll bring in another veteran, and he'll do this. Next person we'll bring will do good too. We'll sign him for $14 million for 1 year. He'll take us to the promised land, whatever. We'll let him go. We'll bring another guy. No. As I said, doesn't mean you can't get a good quarterback in the first and in the second round. Well, of course you're not. But usually, most of the good quarterbacks go in the first. Not all, obviously not all, but you want to, especially supposedly a good quarterback class. You might have a lot of quarterbacks going in the first round. So for the chance, and that too, let's not forget the Colts trade away first round pick. Well, if the Colts do well, say the Colts might be drafting 24th, just throw a number out there, in the first round. That means they're drafting 24th in the second round. So they'll be picking, they're picking about 56th, 57th overall. Now they can couple up some draft picks and move up. Of course. But if they stay put, they're trying to draft a quarterback at number 57 overall. Once again, Doesn't mean good quarterbacks aren't there at 57. Certainly does not mean that. But, drafting somebody at 57 in the second round, sometimes, it's not, they're not a plug and play starter. You might want to have somebody, have somebody in front of them, let them learn for a year or so, and then maybe hand the reins over to them. So in the meantime, they're going to need somebody. And Richardson, I really don't think he's the answer. So it really seems like, whether good or bad or whatever for the Colts, that they kind of backed themselves into a corner with this Daniel Jones thing. As I said, it's the same as what they were talking about. He can, within reason, he can ask for almost anything he wants. And the Colts almost have no option. Now, the Colts don't have to pay him for 4 years or something like that. They can maybe a 2 or 3 year deal. Right, you give them 2 3 years, $45 million a year. What is that? $135 million, right? With whatever, $100 million guaranteed, and you can get out. You pay them. You can get out after 2 years or something like that. Whatever. But it looks like the culture probably tied to Daniel Jones for at least another 2 seasons, and us Giant fans know that all too well. As I said, I wish the guy never did nothing bad to me. I wish him nothing but the best. But you can kind of see, especially this, what happened in Pittsburgh. Sometimes he can get overwhelmed. And as we've seen when he was playing with the Giants, at times when he gets overwhelmed, Danny Dimes is Danny Dooms. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 32 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much on the bottom of our heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh, yeah.